Hello, myself Helly Mehta, working as an assistant professor in Computer Engineering Department at Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. Our subject is Database Management System. So our second unit is Data Models. So first of all, what is database model? A database model is a type of data model that defines the logical structure of the database. So to see the logical structure of database, data models are used. It determines how data can be stored, accessed and updated in a database management system. As I explained earlier, database is a collection of data in which data are stored. We can access the stored data and we can update in the data. So the most popular example of database model is the relational model, which uses a table-based format. So there are four types of database model. First is hierarchical model, second is network model, third is entity relationship model, and fourth is relational model. Okay, so first is hierarchical model. The hierarchical model organizes the data into a tree-like structure where each record has a single parent or root. See in the diagram, we have a one entity that is department, and then department is divided into further two parts, that is student and professor. So here department is a parent node or root node, and student is a child node of department, and professor is also child node of department. The hierarchy start from the root data. Here we have a root department, okay, and expand like a tree, adding child nodes to the parent node. So in this diagram, student and professor are the child node of parent department. Okay, so department is a parent node or root node, and student and professor are the child node. In hierarchical model, data is organized into tree-like structure with one-to-many relationship between two different types of data. For example, one department can have many professors and many students. So in hierarchical model, the relationship between these entities are one-to-many relationship. So see here, we have a one department, okay, and one department have a many students, one department have a many professors. So this relationship is known as one to many. One department have many students, one department have many professors. So this is a tree structure in which we have a root node have a child node, okay, and the relationship between these nodes are one to many. Second is a network model. This is an extension of the hierarchical model, allowing many to many relationships in a tree like structure that allows multiple parents. Okay, this is the tree structure, this is also tree structure, okay, but in this structure it allows only one to many relationship, and here it allows many to many relationship. See here we have a node A. So node A is known as a root node, okay. So node A have a two child, that is node B and node C, okay. After that node B, so now node B is a parent node, and node D and node E are the child node of node B, okay. Now we have a node C. So now C is a parent node, and node E and node F are the child node of C. Now see here we have a node E, okay. So node E have a two parents, that is node B and node C, okay. So this relationship is known as multiple parent or many to many relationship, okay. So this is the network model structure in which one node have multiple parents. So node E have a one parent B and one parent node C, okay. Node D have a parent B, node F have a parent C, node C have a parent A, node B have a parent A. But here we have a one node, that is node E have a parent node B and parent node C. So this structure is known as a network model. Now next is entity relationship model. In this database model, relationships are created by dividing objects of interest into entity and its characteristic into attributes. Now see here, here we have an example in which we have a student, okay, we have a books, okay. So student is an entity, book is an entity, okay. Entity is represent in the rectangle, okay. So student is represent in the rectangle, book is represent in the rectangle. So this is the entities. Now student have a roll number, student have a name, student have a branch, student have a semester. So these all are the attributes of this entity. Now book have a book number, book name, book author and price, okay. So these are the attributes of book, okay. So each entity have a multiple attributes, okay. Now each and every entity have a one relationship, okay. So student issue book, this is an example of library management system. So student issue book, so issue is a relationship between student and books, okay. So this is a entity relationship model in which we have a major three parts, that is entity, second is attributes, and third is relationship. This entity relationship model is our next lecture's topic. We will see in detail how to construct this entity relationship diagram for different systems, okay. Now next is a relational model. In this model, data is organized in two-dimensional table. So data are represented in a table form, and the relationship is maintained by storing a common attribute. See here we have a two tables. First table is student and second table is subject. So students have a roll number, student name and age, and we have a two row. One roll number 1 Rajvi, age is 21. Roll number 2 Jians, age is 22. So this is our one table. Now next is the subject. Subject 1, subject name is DBMS, teacher is Amit. Subject 2, subject ID is 2, subject name is data structure, and teacher is Visan. So now these two are our table. We are using these two tables data in our another table. So these two are our master tables, and we create one another table. It is known as transaction table, okay. So roll number is replaced over here, this student ID is used over here, and we add more one column, that is marks, okay. So roll number 1 came from this table, roll number 2 came from this table, and subject ID is came from this table. So this relational model is known as a relational model. This model is known as relational model, in which we are using the common attributes. Now next is a integrity constraint. The integrity constraint are a set of rules. So what do you mean by constraint? Constraint means rules. It is used to maintain the quality of the information. So in database, we have to maintain the quality of the database, and for that we are using the constraints, okay. So integrity constraint ensure that data insertion, so we are adding the data, updating means we are change the data, and other processes have to be performed in such a way that data integrity is not affected, okay. Thus integrity constraint is used to guard against accidental damage to the database. So whenever we are performing any operation to database, like insertion of data, updating of data, database must not damage, okay. So integrity constraint is used to guard against accidental damage to the database, okay. So these are the integrity constraint, that is first is check, second is not null, third is unique, fourth is primary key, and fifth is foreign key. Now we will see one by one. First is check. So this constraint define a business rule on a column, okay. So in table we have a column, in this table we have a 3 column, roll number, student name and age, and we have a 2 row, that is 1 Rajvi 21, 2 GNs 22. So this is the table, and it is a collection of row and column. This I have explained in lecture number 1, okay. Now this constraint define a business rule on a column. So check constraint is performed on the column. All the rows in that column must satisfy this rule. Mean, suppose I apply this constraint on column number 1, roll number, okay, then all the row, that is row number 1 and row number 2 must satisfy the constraint, okay. So this is the concept. Okay, all the rows in that column must satisfy this rule. So suppose I have a 15 row in the column, then 15 row must satisfy these rules. Okay, limit the data value of variables to a specific set, range or list of values. The constraint can be applied for a single column or a group of column. So in this table we have a three column. I can apply this constraint on only one column, or I can apply this constraint on multiple columns, that is student's name and age. So I can apply on only one column or group of columns. Okay. Now for example, check means the value of SPI should be between 0 to 10. So your result is displayed in SPI. So your SPI should be between 0 to 10. Okay, that is the check constraint. And suppose I have a database of students in which one column is SPI. The SPI should between 0 to 10. Okay. Now second is not null. This constraint ensure all rows in the table contain a definite value for the column which is specified as not null, which means a null value is not allowed. So not null means no value. Okay, so in all table it must have a definite values. Okay, for example, you have a one column enrollment number, then enrollment number must be there, null value is not allowed. For example, name column should have a some value. Suppose I have a database of students in which one column is name, then for each and every row name must be there. Okay, so each and every students have a name. Okay, so name must not be not null. Not null means no value. Okay, so it is not possible that any student have a no name. Okay, so if I have a database of student and in which student name is one column, then if I apply the not null constraint, that means each and every row have a name. That is the meaning of not null. Now next is unique. This constraint ensure that a column or a group of column in each row have a unique value. Okay, a column can have a null value, but the values cannot be duplicated. For example, enrollment number. So every student have an enrollment number, and each and every student's enrollment number is unique. Okay, so enrollment number column should have a unique value. So if I have a database of student in which one column is enrollment number, then each and every student's enrollment number is a different. So this is the unique value in which null value is allowed. Now next is the primary key. This constraint define a column or combination of column which uniquely identifies each row in the table. Means value is unique. Whatever the value you are applying, this value is unique. Primary key is equal to unique key plus not null. Means in primary key all the value are unique. Okay, and not null. Null value is not allowed here. Null value is allowed in unique key. Okay, so for example, enrollment number column should have a unique value as well as can't be null. Means in student database one column is enrollment number. Okay, and suppose I have a 20 students, so the enrollment number of these 20 students are unique. All students have a different enrollment number. Okay, so enrollment number become a primary key. So enrollment number have a unique value, and as well as it can't be null. So if I have a 20 students, then each and every 20 students have a enrollment number. Okay, so it is not null value. Each and every have a one unique number. So this is the primary key, that unique value plus not null. This is the concept of primary key. Now next is a foreign key. The foreign key is a referential integrity constraint. A referential integrity constraint is specified between two tables. So there must be two tables for foreign key. In referential integrity constraint, if a foreign key column in one table refers to the primary key column of table 2, then every value of the foreign key column in table 1 must be null or be available in the primary key column of table 2. I will say this statement in diagram. See here, here I have a one table, that is student, roll number, student name and department ID. Okay, now here I have a roll number 1 and I have a roll number 2. So these are the unique value. Okay, 1 means Rajvi and 2 means TS. Okay, so this is the primary key of table 1. Okay, now I have a one another table, that is department ID, department name and HOD. Okay, so first department is computer department, Amit is a HOD. Now department ID 2, department name is civil and Vishal is a HOD. Now see here, roll number is a primary key for student. Okay, it is a unique value, and department ID is a primary key for this table. Okay, now see here, department ID is a primary key of this table and I am using this primary key in the another table. See here. Okay, so this department ID column is using over here. So this is the concept of foreign key, that one department's primary key is used in another table as a column. So this is the concept of primary key. See that department ID is a primary key of this table and we are using same data in another table. Then this is the concept of foreign key. Okay, thank you.